How do you prepare for artist interviews at the CMA Awards remote broadcast to get the job done?
I think pretty much the whole year is spent getting ready for this broadcast. And we follow pretty closely all the different people that come in and out of our world and country. They've all been very accessible and very open to us. So when we get together at the CMA broadcast, it's kind of like it's exciting. It's seeing someone that you've known for a while and you have a good time with them. But I think for us and for our show, we like to come up with the questions that are ones that other people don't typically ask. I always say that I like to ask the questions like, when you go to the movie theater, do you like your popcorn buttered or unbuttered? I don't really think it matters a whole lot to people at home what it was like to work with so-and-so, as your producer. They really want to know how they connect with them as people. And so I just try to think about the questions that I would want asked, as a fan of country. So that's what we do.
What kind of team does it take to get the job done and put on After Midnight that week?
We, for the most part, try to employ people on our team that have opposable thumbs. We have found that when it comes to operating machinery, it's part of the important part of what we do. Now, part of it really has to do with preparation and just knowing exactly what's going to happen. Kind of have to play the game in your mind like a good football team. You have to imagine what it's going to be like to be victorious and what are our benchmarks? What do we need to make this a successful broadcast? And I think that collectively as a team, we're all really focused on trying to bring the most that we can to our listeners. And I think that I'd like to believe that we do a good job with that. All of us are very focused on that.
What's your goal
and opposable thumbs, I'm sorry.
What's your goal during an artist interview?
My goal during an artist interview is to get something that no one else has gotten. And I think that you do that by getting someone so comfortable while they're talking with you that they kind of forget that they are being interviewed. A lot of interviews, I think that the interviewer is so focused on what their next question is going to be that they're not listening to what their guest is saying. And there's a natural flow in any conversation, and that ultimately is what it is, isn't it? It's kind of like you try to have a conversation that you've been to a restaurant before, right? You've sat next to someone who is having a very interesting conversation next to you, and you find yourself kind of wrapped up and engaged in what's going on at the table next to you. That's what we want to create on radio, and that's the goal. Get the artist to forget that they are being interviewed so they don't give you the stock answers that they have given everyone else, and listen and go back and forth and let that natural river of a conversation flow just as it would, at a table at a restaurant.
How does the CMA use the expertise of board members to get the job done?
I think that the CMA board, we get the job done because we listen to who buys our music. One of the coolest things when I was fortunate enough to become involved with the CMA is to learn that I think this is brilliant. I wish that more businesses operated this way. They understand that what's good for someone in the world of country is ultimately good for the Country Music Association. There's none of this possessive, no, we're not going to talk to them because they worked with them, or it's none of this us against them mentality. The CMA is so squarely focused on if it's good for country, it is good for the Country Music Association. And that's what they're about, bringing together the right advertising partners with the people who can deliver their messages in a meaningful way that, their target market can connect with. The CMA is brilliant at that. And there's no secrecy. There's no, just, we're going to get them and you can't have them. Not at all. We work together. And if it's good for country, it's good for the CMA. And I'm so proud to be a part of that organization.
What does it take to get ready for the night of the CMA Awards?
I guess probably the biggest thing about getting ready for the CMA Awards is making certain that I can find matching socks. When you wear boots every day, look, I'm wearing boots. I could have mismatched socks, right? But no, when I go to the CMA Awards, I wear dress shoes. And that means matching socks. And preferably, if I'm wearing a black suit, I try not to have the white athletic socks. Even though they might match, not stylish. So socks, a big role in what it takes to be, successful at the CMA Awards.